All right, guys, what's going on? Give me 1 second. All right, what's up, guys? It's Saturday morning, my time, 5:45 a.m. I got a busy day. It's Friday afternoon. I just got done watching the Xander Zayas weigh-ins, and there's a lot of fights going on. We had the fights last night. I've been, the draw either broke you even or smashed you, just because in Australia we know that the draw kills us. So we're talking about the Jorge Chavez versus Manny Flores fight main event yesterday in Indio, California. It ended in a draw, controversial, albeit some of you guys pushed. Not my ticket, Australia. So the draw totally tears our parlay up. Moving forward, not a lot to talk about that fight. It wasn't really a fight we went super heavy on. We did break it down. We did pick Flores, and it was a draw. So just like when you're an athlete, if you're a competitive guy, if you play sports growing up, if you still play sports, draws suck. I remember at one level of baseball, we were playing in a tournament, and they didn't have extra innings. It was kind of one of these like traveling tournaments, and winners stay round robin, so you had to play everybody, and then the brackets were set. And I remember that one of the games, because there wasn't extra innings, ended in a draw, and it felt worse than it feels just like a loss. Same thing with gambling. Well, even though it was a loss on my end, for those who followed my bet, who pushed, yeah, I don't bet draws, but the last 2 weeks we saw a draw with Pacquiao, and we just saw a draw now. Make what you will of it. We move on. We got the top rank card. The Zayas versus Chino weigh-in was just a couple hours ago. Polanco's on that on that card. Santana's fighting Steven Navarro. So there's some action there. Also, there's the OTC card. Elijah Pierce is headlining. Michael Dasmariñas. O'Shea Jones is fighting on that card. You have the UK card tomorrow. Bellotti versus Garner. And then you also have the Detroit card, which Clarissa Shields is on. So it really is going to come down to, if you guys are following, if you're in the Discord, I've just posted a money line parlay in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, the link is on my channel. It's Johnny Says Boxing Insider link. Join that. It's a couple bucks a month. That's how you get access to the Discord. So there's a couple fights that I do like. I just posted in the Discord thoughts on Shushu Carrington and thoughts on Elijah Pierce. Just because, not necessarily if they're going to win the fight, but odds on decisions versus stoppages. And so it's something that I'm kind of leaning on. I might play the Elijah Pierce by decision, which is almost a plus 600 bet. So we'll see. We'll see if I do that. I'll put it in the Discord. I'm watching Top Rank. Let me know if you guys watched the weigh-ins, because I've been getting messages about Zayas and how drained he looked. So I'm fast forwarding it now. What's up, Pedro? Is Usyk a top 10 heavyweight of all time? Maybe. I mean, Usyk has fought, a total of 5 heavyweight fighters in his entire career? I mean, he's fought Fury, Dubois. He's fought... We were just talking about this. Do you think Shields gets... Well, the way Clarissa Shields boxes, Clarissa Shields is really great at winning rounds. Clarissa Shields is, really great on points. In her boxing career, how many rounds has she really lost versus how many rounds has she won? You'd be hard-pressed to find rounds that she's lost. My point is, she only has a couple knockouts. She gets knockdowns, but she doesn't really have stoppage power, because she kind of goes about her business just sort of, I don't want to say embarrassing her opponents, but just dominating them. That's why the odds are always so wild. It's really hard to make money on Clarissa Shields because of that. So historically, the bet would be Clarissa Shields by decision, based on how, you know what I'm saying. She's fighting at heavyweight, a big Australian. These odds are wild. So like, I'm staying away from that fight. I talked about it yesterday. Some of you boys texted me, said, "Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Johnny, for the win." I was like, we didn't win. We drew. And if you're in Australia, we lost. They're like, no, but yesterday on the live stream, you said sometimes the best bets are the ones you don't place. I was like, yeah. They're like, I didn't bet on Jorge Chavez or Gucci. I'm like, sweet. Because guys, there's a lot. Looking at this weekend, there's a lot of these fights that are kind of like, other than Zayas versus Chino, a lot of these the odds are kind of tough. It's a weird weekend. There's a lot of action, but for any gambler to sit back and say, this is it, take this. I think this is one of those weekends where I would actually have the list of fights to avoid rather than fights to gamble on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not betting on Clarissa Shields' fight. You know, I'm not really going heavy on too many parlays. I have a couple bucks sprinkled here and there on some parlays. Even Reece Bellotti versus Ryan Gardner, I'm not going heavy on that. It's a domestic British affair. I think I'm going to roll the dice. It's called gambling for a reason. I think I'm going to roll the dice on a decision with Elijah Pierce. That fight goes down in a couple hours. He's fighting Michael Dasmarinas. We've seen him before. We've seen him get stopped before. He's fought the better competition. Obviously, he's not the youngest guy. But Elijah Pierce by decision is plus 600. That is so tempting for me. Elijah Pierce is 20-2. He does have 16 stoppages. Just in terms of trying to find value. You know what I'm saying? He's only $1.06 on the money line. He should beat Dasmarinas. 100 on the money line with Elijah only gets you your money back plus $6. But 100 on him to win a decision gets you your money back plus 500. So I'm really, and the knockout only pays $1.16. Dasmarinas has been stopped 3 times. He's coming off a knockout loss. I get all that. He's been stopped by Okamoto, which was only a couple months ago. And then Inoue 5 years ago. We know these Filipino fighters are tough too. So yeah, I think that's probably, I think I'm going to sprinkle something on that. It's going to be one of those method of victory bets that if it hits, I look great. And if not, I'm not going to be hurt too much about it. I did obviously do a breakdown video on Bellotti and Gardner. So on my money line prediction, I'm taking Gardner. What's Pierce's reach? What's up, History Vault? I'll pull that up for you right now. So Elijah has it's obviously not listed. Let me search it. Yeah, it's not on his box rec, but yeah, it's not on his Tapology. Boxing News, 5'8". His reach isn't listed on DAZN. That's weird. I can't find it. Kingdom Life. It's not listed anywhere, his reach. Oh, 173. So it's on, if you go to marshallbot.com, Elijah Pierce's reach is 173 centimeters. So 173 centimeters in inches. So he has a 68-inch reach. So 68-inch reach isn't that long, considering he is 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. Now go to marshallbot.com. Well, it's usually kind of similar when they do. I was telling people they measure reach wingspan, so it's usually going to be kind of similar. Yeah, go to www.marshallbot.com. Yeah, they have Elijah Pierce's reach is 173 centimeters, which is 68 inches. Yeah, so when you look at, and he's 5'8". When you look at Bud Crawford, isn't Bud 5'9", 5'8"? He has a 74-inch reach. I know he has really long arms. So Das Marinas isn't the biggest of guys, though, and neither is Elijah's longer. What's Das Marinas' reach? So Das Marinas is 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. So the reach and height on paper they're kind of the same. And the Filipino fighter has 42 pro fights. What does that tell us? He knows how to operate. I think, like I said, I'm not too. This weekend isn't. There's not a lot of fights on paper, boys, that jump off the page that have me excited about doing parlays. Some weekends are like this. I just shared Muscle Brown's parlay in our Discord, and that's a parlay that we've all kind of shared. It's a 4-leg, 5-leg. I shared it on the page earlier in the week. It only plays plus 149. But I've had a really good month of July. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys to bet a lot this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So even like it's, if you find yourself betting just to bet, stop betting. You know what I'm saying? Like boxing, a lot of people on my channel have found me because of my, we have a shared interest in the joy of the sport. So always keep that in mind. If you're out here struggling or trying to like get rich off of boxing, check yourself a bit. It should be entertainment. Like if you're not having fun doing it. My point is there really aren't a lot of matchups in this weekend, that excite me to kind of like build a nice parlay around. $1.49 on the 5-leg that everybody's building, that everybody's agreed upon. Gary from 3D Muscles, myself, we already have action. It's $1.49. It's a 50% return of investment. That's enticing if you're betting a lot of money. $500. You get $500 on $1,000 bet, but and then you just do the maths. You get 500 on 1,000, you get 5,000 on 10,000, you get 10,000 on 20,000. But it's kind of like, not everybody has the paper to bet that way. So my perspective on what I'm saying on this live stream is, for the boys out there who don't want to like break your bank betting on these fights this weekend, I'm going to go about it more about some method of victories, risking a little to win a lot. So the odds are going to be higher. Like, for instance, my upset parlay pays 9-1 in the UFC. So $100, and it's 9-1. Obviously far from a gimme, but I put $100, wins you your money back plus 800. So 100, 900, 9-1, or 8-1. And then I think that I'm going to go Elijah Pierce by decision at plus 600. So 100 on Elijah to win on points, you get your money back plus 500. Like, because he's $1.07 on the money line, and he's $1.17 to win by stoppage. And I think that's only a 10-rounder. It's only a 10-rounder. I'm talking myself into this one. So yeah, check your book. You got Shushu. I'm watching the weigh-ins right now. I got Shushu round 4, 525. Little sprinkle. So you're actually picking the round. He's fighting a quote-unquote big punching African, right? Haita? I never heard of him. And this is for an interim title at 126. So this is one of those fights that Carrington, yeah, he's fighting Haita, 25-1 dog. This is one of those fights for Carrington that it just puts him in a better position to fight for a full world title at 126. And, there's a lot of fun matchups. He gets through Haita. There's a lot of fun matchups at 26 for him. So him by knockout in the 4th. Yeah, the odds aren't that great picking that exact round. Even Carrington by decision is plus 600. Carrington by stoppage is $1.13. They're obviously expecting him to put on a show, facing a guy who's probably going to be on his front foot. He's going to be outclassed, outmatched. Carrington. I like that bet, actually. Early stoppage. Right now, the weigh-ins, if you got... Yeah, this is Rohan Polanco's fighting Quentin Randall. Albamaya versus Ochoa. Oh, you want to go to the UFC right now? That's in the UAE. The UFC's this weekend. Kazakhstan versus Peru. Everyone's taking the Kazakhs fighter. 70% on Tapology. He is coming off a loss, though. Manel Kopp stopped him. And Ochoa's coming up. Dude, Cody Durden's a good win for Ochoa. That's an interesting fight. Wow, the Kazakh fighter's 31 years old. I'm not going to play that fight, by the way, Albamaya versus Ochoa. But, like I said, the only two fights on the UFC I'm going to play are the two upsets that I'm taking. It's a 50. I mean, Ochoa on the money line looks like a good bet, guys. My book has him at $2.01, so 100 gets you your money back plus another 100. So yeah, he's a plus 200. And Albamaya, it's almost like a pick'em fight, a coin flip. I would probably lean on Ochoa in that fight. I'm not going to bet it. I'm taking Marcus McGee against Jan, and I'm taking RDR versus Whitaker. Plus 900. Therefore, I don't have to watch the card until the very end. People are sleeping on Marc-Andre Barriault, too. I want to pick Ochoa. If not, I'll just pass him. If everyone thinks of him, I have controls him on the ground and wins the decision. That would be his path to victory. I just don't like the fact that he's coming off that, Manel Kopp's world class. Manel Kopp's one of the best guys in the UFC to not be a world champion. He's been at that level, Manel, for like a decade, it seems like, even before he got to the UFC. At that world level, like, how's he not, one of those guys that, hasn't won a world title? It's kind of like you guys, your boy Dustin Poirier. He never won a world title. Poirier is probably one of the best UFC guys to never have won a world title. He was an interim champ, but that doesn't count. Did you take anything? Yeah. So, Jazz, what's up? European level. So, Jazz, I broke that fight down. When I say domestic, we have domestic level American fighters. Because all domestic means is nationally, right? We have domestic level Aussies. So, domestic level Americans. These are domestic level Brits. You know what I mean? So, it is for the Commonwealth. I think a couple belts, local, regional belts are on the line. The Commonwealth belt. One of my favorite belts in boxing is the Aussie Lonsdale belt. Or the British Lonsdale belt. Google it. It's a cool looking belt. So that's on the line. I did a breakdown. I took Ryan Gardner on my channel moneyline parlay. But like I said, I haven't risked a lot of money on that fight. This is what we go month to month, boys. We had a huge month of July. My channel has grown. We've made a lot of connections. I'm actually a little bit tired, going week to week. So in terms of like what's the word? What's a good adjective for being excited? My excitement for betting money this weekend, it's not at the highest level. You know what I mean? Because I've done good this month. It's never about money for me. It's about making connections. It's about growing the channel. It's about expanding our knowledge and learning. So July's been an amazing month with some amazing fights. And right now, I am a bit burned out on, on like getting excited about some of the fights. And I'm just being honest with you guys. And that's one thing that you could always count on me for is I'm not going to bullshit you. So to answer you, Bellotti versus Gardner, I'm taking Gardner. Am I betting heavy on that fight? No, I'm not betting heavy on any of the fights this weekend. And last night with the top rank, with the Golden Boy card in Indio, I sprinkled a little bit on the main event, but I didn't bet it heavy on anything this week. And I'm just being honest. I'm rolling the dice on upsets this weekend. Like I said, I like RDR versus Whitaker in the UFC on a parlay with McGee to beat Jan plus 900. And I think I'm going to go like maybe a couple $100 on Elijah Pierce today to win a decision. If Elijah Pierce beats Das Marinas by decision, that's plus 600. That's a bet that could get me excited about the fights for the OTX card. You know what I mean? That OTX card doesn't blow me away. There's some cool young prospects on that card. Some guys I've been following since the amateurs, like Lugo. I've been watching Nathan Lugo since he was an amateur. I like how OTX has been promoting Nathan Lugo. Somewhere along the lines, his mother and I are friends on Facebook. So she was sending me Nathan Lugo highlights when Nathan was like 14, 15. So don't ask me how I don't know. Maybe she saw one of my boxing interviews back in the day and connected with me that way. I think the Garner fight goes the distance, Mr. Reed. Goosecoff is a good bet. Yeah, I think the Garner fight does go the distance. Will the fight go the distance? Yes, is a nice little bet. And then pick whatever side you like. Reese Bellotti is seasoned, 34 years old. He's fought the higher caliber opponents, has a handful of losses, nice little winning streak. Has won his last, I think, 4 or 5 fights. Garner's never lost. Garner had a good, nice little amateur career, guys. I talked about this in my breakdown. It's not like Garner pieced together wins and he's just 17-0 randomly. No, he had a lot of hype about him when he was a teen. You could find a lot of media and videos on him when he was 15, 16, 17 coming up in the UK. And then, I mentioned in my breakdown he was suspended by the BBBOC, the British Board of Boxing's Commission, for driving under the influence of that white girl. So, this was when he was younger. I think it was 20 or 21. He's 27 now. So, at 21, you're a maniac. Everybody. I was a lunatic at 21, too. You make stupid decisions. So, he got caught driving under the influence of that white girl. And then that's kind of stuck around his naysayer. In boxing, if you find one chink in the armor of a guy, the negative comments will be around them their entire career. A mishap. People like to pick on people when they're down. He's 27 now, locked in. He's in his grown man phase. Carrington, I like the under 5.5 Marcus. I'm watching the weigh-in now. Harrington is always going to tick the boxes of the weigh-ins. Carrington is always going to tick the boxes. He's in Hayes' face right now. Hayes is a big puncher. Not a lot of names you're going to recognize on his resume. Eddie Ray had 7 mishaps. Yeah, they got to get things together. Eddie Reynosa's statement about the whole thing was insane to me as well. When Eddie, I shared it on our group. All right, have you watched Xander Zayas the weigh-in? Zayas, people were messaging me on the Discord about how drawn out Zayas looks. Chino doesn't look too healthy either. Jesus. When you watch Chino at his walk, he must cut a shitload of weight. Jorge Garcia. Damn, 154 pounds is so small. I'm an inch. So Xander is listed at 5'11". I'm a little bit over. When they do our measurements, this is back in college, playing sports, I was listed a little bit above 5'11" with no shoes on. Now, my walk-around weight in college was 192 pounds playing sports. My walk-around weight now is more like 178 pounds. But still, I'm 43, 178 pounds. I'm probably 8% body fat. I've always been around 10% or under body fat. Dude, Xander looks so drawn out, mate. Holy shit, dude. Look how drawn out he looks. God, dude. Dude, he looks so bad on the scales, man. God damn. What are you guys seeing? My point is to make 100. If I would have to think about it, any stage of my, even in my 20s, to make 154 pounds with my frame, that is insane to me. Because when you look at Xander training, you don't think he looks bad. Okay. When you look at, I'm looking here. When you look at Xander training, he's like stout looking. He looks, and he's gonna put weight on. He's gonna put weight on. He's gonna hydrate. Damn, it just puts things in perspective for me about how much weight they cut. I bet you Xander probably walks at 185. He's cutting. It looks to me he's cutting like. This is gonna sound crazy. It looks like Xander cuts like 30 pounds to make 54. I mean, we knew that EJ was cutting close to 40 pounds to make 47. You know, EJ was walking around at 190, 191 when he made 47 against. Allegedly, he was at 190 when he made 47 against Bud. Xander's fighting at 54. You know, one of the guys down here in Sydney trains with him in Florida, Mateo Tapia. And so I've met Mateo. Mateo's a big boy. Mateo, I think he's fighting at 160 now, but he's a couple inches taller than me. He walks around probably a little bit heavier than me, and Mateo fights at 60. And when these guys post training footage together, Xander looks thicker than Mateo. I wouldn't be shocked if Xander walks around at 185. 154 is insane, dude. This is why everybody's like, they could see Zayas fighting at 60 and 60. Because even 168, when you think about 168 pounds, what's up, DJ? When you think about 168 pounds, and you're above 5'10", that's not a lot of weight. But we think in terms of boxing, in terms of divisions, the 168-pound division, you know, you think Benavidez was fighting there for a long time. Morrell was fighting there for a long time. Canelo fights there. 168's not... I haven't been 168 pounds since I was 16 years old. And like I said, I've lived my entire adult man life at about 10% body fat or less. But that's me, natural, being a coach, being an athlete, living a healthy lifestyle. I don't eat processed foods. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. My point is body composition, and these are young men. So 154 is insane, dude. Xander, I don't expect, he's 22 years old. I don't expect him to be at 54 too long. You figure he beats Chino here. He becomes a full world champion. Maybe he defends a couple times at 54. But then I could look at you. So you guys don't think Xander had a rough weight cut? I'm watching it right. Mate. I don't know, man. I still have Xander winning. I'm just saying he needs to do that. Weight cutting in the sport is insane. That's what I'm saying. Here. Yeah, and Chino looks bad too, though. I was going to say, Daniel, Chino looks bad because Chino's big. Chino's 6 feet, 6'1". Mo Price, he should and can't wear him torn his Randall's. Okay, so we're talking, my bad, I didn't get to that. So we're talking about Quentin Randall versus Rohan Polanco. People are loving Rohan to win by stoppage, win by knockout. I don't know if I'm sold on that. So right now, Rohan Polanco by decision is 178. By knockout, $2.50. It's a 10-rounder. I like the decision at 178, guys. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let's do something real quick. Let's do a little. Yeah. So I'm gonna stay on for another 30 minutes. It's 6:15 a.m. Saturday morning. I have a coaching session here at 7. Then I have to run to the city for sparring at 8:45. And then it's my girl's birthday, so we have a party for her in the city. So I'm probably not. This will probably be my only live. I want to do. Okay, let's go. Let's do a little bit of a. Let's do a little bit of a method of victory parlay real quick, boys. So I'm gonna take Rohan Polanco by decision on a parlay. That's $1.78. We're just gonna see what odds we get. Polanco by decision at $1.78. I don't think do you guys think Elijah Pierce stops Stas Marinas? Because Elijah by decision is $5.60. I mean, a 20. Let's see what a little sprinkle pays us. I've liked this bet all week. I've liked Elijah Pierce by decision all week. Mo, I took Hitchens by stoppage against Kambosos, but yeah, I could see what the PTSD would set in. So yeah, it's a coin flip. You know, you're betting for a reason. We could do all the fight tape we want, and then when we hit, boys, we look like geniuses. Like some of the boys hit on a draw yesterday. You look, but let me see the losses, baby boo. Let me see your losses. That's the cool thing. Why I like about my channel is that everybody gets receipts when I lose. I'm all about receipts. So you get when I lose, you guys have it, and when I win, you have it. But in the chat, so some of the boys look like experts because they only post when they win. We don't see when they lose. Do I see Emiliano Vargas losing? No, I don't. I don't see him losing. Do you guys? Okay, so I'm gonna take Elijah points by decision, $5.60. All right, guys, that's already a 10-1. If you think Polanco by decision at $1.78. You see my losses though. That's why I like my channel. I like that because in the comment section, even in the Discord right now, you got the boys posting their parlays that they won last night, picking the draw with the domestic fight between Gucci and Chavez. But I'm like, all right, man, you picked the draw. Let me see all your tickets. Let's really get to the bottom of it. All right, so Rohan by decision $1.78. Elijah Pierce by decision $5.60. We're already at that's $9.96. 100 on that gets you 1,000. I think I'm gonna play that, guys. I'm gonna add one more. Let's get greedy. I'm gonna add one more to get greedy. One more method of victory. What do we see? What's a greedy pick? O'Shea Jones by decision. Do you think O'Shea wins by knockout or by decision? I think she wins by decision. $1.46. 15-1. Well, I have RDR on my MMA parlay. I don't like mixing the two. So I already have the UFC parlay with RDR upsetting Rob. You want to add Yoembi to that? Are we keeping O'Shea or no? Are we keeping O'Shea by decision or are we removing O'Shea? But yeah, we got to get greedy out here. I got to keep it real, boys. You know when we're starting to add, whenever we add more than 2 legs on a method of victory parlay, we're out here getting greedy. I mean, say it for what it is. One of the boys just said he always loses 1 leg. It's because we get greedy. Yeah, okay. DJ, we see eye to eye. So let's move on. Let's take O'Shea off of that. All right, so we got 2. We got Rohan by decision. I mean, Elijah by decision. And what was the other? Somebody just said Yoembi. What's Yoembi by knockout pay? Okay, Yoembi against Zorro. It's only $1.17. You want to throw Yoembi by knockout on there at $1.17? I don't know if that's enough juice for my sneaky parlay. I'm not gonna say I'm not disagreeing with you. I want to find something a little bit more tastier than $1.17. So Garner, Bellotti, Will the fight go the distance? What's that pay? Will the fight go the distance? Garner Bellotti, $1.62. That's goddamn tempting. Garner Bellotti, will the fight go the distance? I don't think either guy gets stopped. I got to be honest with you. Bruce over 3.5. Let's see what that pays. Tony Harrison by decision. Jan Carlos over Alameda. Maybe that's the one. You know what? Jan Carlos over Alameda. Wow. Carlos Santana over Alameda by decision or by stoppage. Each way pays $225. Do you think Jan Santana stops Alameda? Or do you think Jan Santana wins a points decision? Wow, that is a fun... That's so intriguing. Okay, points. All right, guys, this is it. I think I'm gonna roll with this parlay. 24-1 odds. 24-1 odds. 3 fights. Rohan on points. Elijah Pierce on points. Jan Santana on points. 24-1. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna post that in our group. Just because that'll get me excited. Just watching boxing this weekend. Just a lot of these matchups not really get me excited on the money line. Like I said, I'm a bit burned out. It's been a busy month of July for me. Doing live streams every day. It's tough to get up for any of these fights this weekend. I mean, I'm excited about Xander versus Chino. But this little 3-leg method of victory has me stoked. So you think Rohan knocks him out? All right, so Rohan by knockout, though, then pays... Who do you think has a better chance of winning a decision, Rohan or Elijah Pierce? Because Elijah Pierce is a 6-1 to win by decision. Okay, so Polanco by knockout, it's actually better odds. Okay, so because Polanco by decision is $1.78. Polanco by knockout's $2.50. Are we gonna switch that? We'll actually get better odds. So I'm keeping Elijah Pierce by decision at $5.90. So Elijah by decision is $5.90. Rohan by knockout is $2.50. And Jan Santana by decision is $2.35. That's 37-1, guys, on 3 fights. 37-1 odds. Because right now, Polanco and Santana, Polanco's $2.50 to win by knockout. Santana is $2.35 to win a decision. Elijah Pierce is $5.60 to win a decision. So depending on how you take Polanco, you're going to get plus 200 either way. Either you want Polanco by decision or stoppage, it's plus 200. Damn, that's tempting. 32-1. I'm going to get some cheeky action on it right now. I think I'm going to roll the dice. I think I'm going to tail your bet, mate. I'm going to take Polanco too by stoppage. Alois Jr. All right, I got 37-1. Navarro and Rios going the distance. What are the odds on that? I mean, Navarro's a big favorite. And Navarro's $1.04 on the money line. Will the fight go the distance? The fight in general to go the distance, $2.45. It's a tough one. I'm probably not going to play it. I don't know too much about that fight. I didn't really look into the fight. But I think Elijah Pierce by decision at $5.40 is the move, guys. I think let's just hope Das Marinas, the Filipino, has something left still. Yeah, Brian Norman Jr. is not the same guy from 2023. Even his win against Gio, from his win against Gio to Cuevas to, the kid he fought in Japan, Sasaki, we're just watching a kid grow up. He was 22, 23, 24, something along those lines. He's 24 now. Yeah, he's doing everything better. This version of Brian Norman Jr. is a different fighter than he was even 2 fights ago. So it definitely makes sense when it's just his hand speed too and his timing. His hand speed, his timing. He looks like a totally different fighter. The kid who fought Cuevas looked different to me. And then from Cuevas to Sasaki, he looked different to me. So those are the kind of levels you want to see. Elijah Pierce cracking shit, and Desmond is coming off a knockout. Yeah, but so if you like the knockout, Elijah by knockout, $1.28. I don't like those odds. Yeah, I'm gonna roll the dice and say Elijah gets it done on points. We'll see. Hopefully we can lean on the tough Filipino. This card tomorrow. There's heaven sent. We got 3 cards in the next 24 hours. Like I said, July has me burned out, boys. We had a card yesterday. We got the OTX card. We got the Detroit card. We got 4 cards today in the next 24 hours. The OTX card, the Detroit card, the New York card, and the UK card. No wonder my head is like this frazzled. And we covered yesterday's card, Golden Boy and Indio. So there were 5 cards this weekend. I'm just kind of like exhausted from it all. I'm probably not going to do a live stream tomorrow. I think I need to take the day off. I haven't taken a day off of live streaming since the silent film era. But we have the Wednesday card. We have Kanjari's fighting in Japan. There's 3 world title fights Wednesday night. Your Wednesday morning, my Wednesday night in Australia, in Japan. So it's like we got a busy weekend. Let's, hopefully we could find the right picks. And then Wednesday night we have 3 world title fights. Takami's fighting Antonio Vargas. People always sleep on Antonio Vargas. So Vargas is the kid who when I did the breakdown on Nonito Donaire, I was telling you guys, if Donaire wins, he's probably going to get Vargas. Vargas could crack. Yeah, 168 has some big... 168's top heavy, though. Not a lot of depth. 168 historically has never had a lot of depth. You know what I mean? If we go top to bottom, even 1 through 10, 1 through 15... dude, if you guys aren't aware of Antonio Vargas, wow. He's a huge dog against Higa. Damn, I didn't realize that. Quentin Randall stoppage. All right, go. Keep posting the clipboard. Awesome. Yeah, damn it. I mean, Vargas is a big dog, boys. Looking ahead a bit. We got Taraji fighting Sandoval. That's a good fight. Vargas versus Higa is a good fight, dude. Higa gets scrapped. Wow. This is insane. Look at the odds of Antonio Vargas and Diego Higa. Vargas is getting no love in that fight. I love that. And then Takami is a huge fight, fighting a very tough Eric Rosa. I love these Mexican fighters coming to Japan. Let's, a la Sugar Nuna. Dude, the Japan versus Mexico rivalry is so rooted in wholesomeness. You know what I'm saying? Like the promoters are very, like, they go about their business in such a respectful manner. I think international boxing should watch how they go about their business. Even though the corruption from Japan, it goes just as deep from the corruption everywhere else in boxing. But I do like the current rivalry of Mexico versus Japan, especially in the, 122 and below. Higa's regressing. Hand here, Shrival. Aren't we all regressing? Aren't we all just waiting? My morbid sense of humor. That's something you guys don't know about me. My sense of humor is a bit sort of dark. I kind of have an interesting outlook on, we'll say, existentialism. Dude, Antonio Vargas is a plus 360. I might get that right now. I guarantee those odds are good. Now I'm excited. I talked all that shit about not being excited about the fights this weekend. But looking at that, yeah, he is a tough vet. But Antonio Vargas, man, get out of here, dude. Watch his tape. Watch how he fights if you guys aren't aware. (19-1), 11 knockouts. His only loss, he got stopped 6 years ago when he was 22. He got stopped 6 years ago when he was 22. I mean, mate. Look, he's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. 7 out of his last 8 wins are by stoppage. Dude, Antonio Vargas is... Dude, And this fight's at what weight class? Is this fight at 18? Or is this fight at 22? It's at bantam. It's at 18. Mate, I think, dude, this is awesome. I love that he's a 3-1 dog. Diego Higa's 20. Diego Higa's an old 29, if you ask me. He hasn't won. He hasn't got a victory in 2 years. So he hasn't won a fight in 2 years. Make what you will of that. I mean, a really tough fight against Takai. I watched that. And Tsutsumi. I mean, he's just fought world-class opponents. That's a fun fight, mates. That's something to think about sprinkling on a dog. All right, guys. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes. Let me know who you like this weekend. I'm going to put up... So we just built a little 3-legger. Add a little insurance on the draws. Yeah, see, it's tough for me betting on the Australian betting websites because the draw destroys our parlay. So in order for me to bet insurance on the draw, I would just have to hedge. It forces us to do a three-way bet. So draws ruin our parlays. We lose. So I lost yesterday because I picked a winner in the Golden Boy card, and because it was a draw, we get voided. Or we lose. He is a pretty big bantamweight, I know. All right, so to recount, I just built it's a 38-1. I think Vargas is history of all. I'm high on Antonio Vargas. I brought Antonio Vargas up during my Nonito Donaire. Who did he fight? The kid from the Argentinian fighter. Donaire won. At 42, turn the clocks back. Yeah, the draw is a loss for us. It sucks, dude. Yeah, if you bet if a draw takes place and you're from Australia and you're on an Aussie betting app, because they force us three-way betting, win, lose, or draw, it's why our money line winners it's why our money line odds are more than yours in America, because they take in consideration that draw. You don't think Daz will hold up? You think Daz will? It's a 10-rounder. Well, we'll see. I mean, the odds are plus 600 for a decision for a reason. So it's not a lock. I'm just saying it's a risky gamble if you want to get excited about a fight that really, for me, isn't that exciting. I guess that's the best way for me to put it. Dude, getting dropped twice against John Silva is not a bad thing, dude. John Silva is a maniac. And Bryce is, what are you talking about? He's a good grappler. Bryce Mitchell versus Well, when you see the last name Nurmagomedov, don't get honey-dicked. Even though he is from Dagestan, Nurmagomedov's more of a striker. I think people are thinking Bryce is going to out-grapple and out-wrestle Nurmagomedov on the ground. I'm not betting on that fight, though. I'm only taking two fights in the UFC. They're both upsets. Yeah, getting dropped against John Silva is fucking not a bad thing. John Silva's a lunatic. He's a goddamn maniac. If anything, I think what's going to hold, if anything might hold Silva back, it's him deciding what weight class to fight in. Because he's kind of an in-betweener. He kind of can float back and forth from weight classes, but I don't know. He's going to have to make that decision on what's like his natural weight class. I think the same thing with Ilya. Even though we've seen Ilya be successful, we're going to have to see him defend. But he's a smaller 55er, and Jack is trying to bait him and going up to 70. That would be a nightmare for Ilya. If he tries to be great and fight Jack at 170, goddamn, I wouldn't. It's an intriguing fight to think about. How could you? Yeah, how could you? You can't. How could you not be high on Ilya? I love the way Ilya goes about his business. I like his personality. Same. Jazz, what's up, buddy? I agree. I know. I was looking for Kakashi. I think I'm the only. I like Kakashi, dude. I like his style. But him pulling out, I like the Sam Goodman step up. I think we have a live dog, dude. I think Sam Goodman wins a lot of rounds against Nick Ball. We talked about it yesterday on the live stream. Guys, like this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Shara Bullet. Yeah, he's fighting Mark Barrialt. But Marc-Andre Barrialt's no easy out. Yeah, I don't bet on Nikita Krylov. I'm not betting on Nikita Krylov versus Guskov. I'm only betting on 2 fights on that UFC card, guys. I think people are really underestimating Sam Goodman. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Ford should get it done. Sam Goodman is a slick operator in there. Like, for all the things that I don't like about Nick Ball's style, guys, I coach, so I don't know. I don't think he does. He's a pretty kind of chill. Yeah, he's a pretty. So TJ's a pretty kind of to himself sort of bloke. I don't think he does. For all the things that I don't like about Nick Ball's style, Sam Goodman does a lot of those things well. Like, Nick Ball's style to me, like I said, I like technicians. I like big punchers. I like aggressive punchers. It's not like I only like technicians. I like a slugger, right? I just don't like Nick Ball's style. It doesn't. Nick Ball's style to me looks like an athlete who picked up boxing late, optically. Sam Goodman is a boxer. So for all of that front foot fighting Ball likes to do, getting his feet out of position, getting caught in bad positions, but being able to get away with it due to his athleticism and his sort of explosivity. I mean, Goodman could counter, I don't know, man. The fight's coming up. As of now, I'm taking Sam Goodman to beat Nick Ball on points. Even though it sounds crazy. But yeah, and I think that Ray should have won. That was a really close fight too. And Ray isn't a super polished fighter. I mean, people like Ray Ball or Ray Ford. I like him as well. But what Thomas Matisse, I felt like Thomas Matisse could have been a little bit more aggressive. Maybe he felt for his power. Because Matisse, historically, at least the domestic level in America, could crack. Yeah, but he's Turkey's guy. I didn't know that. I mean, Sam Goodman had that Inoue fight a couple times for a reason. Even this fight is at 26. I don't think that's not a big deal. 122 to 126 is not a big deal. You don't really see a big sort of drop off. If anything, we might actually see a Sam Goodman with a little bit more sit down on his punches, keeping the 4 pounds on. But Sam, he's going to be longer, taller, smoother, better boxer, uses the ring properly, better angles, better counters, better timing. I like Sam Goodman in this fight, boys. I do. I don't see Sam could take a shot. Cesar Vaca isn't that bad of a fighter. Cesar Vaca came into I was ringside of that fight. Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining fight. I like that fight. Yeah, but his angles, the way Nick Ball goes about his business, there's a lot of fat on his angles. TJ Doheny is a legit world champion. Sam Goodman fought TJ. Didn't Sam stop TJ? Or no, TJ didn't. I was at that fight. I'm pretty sure Sam fought TJ on the undercard of Zhu versus Harrison. I was at that fight. Or no, that was Reese Aleem. I've been to like 5 Sam Goodman fights. So they're kind of... When did he fight Reese Aleem? No, he fought TJ... Yeah, it was on the undercard of Zhu. He won a decision. He won a wide decision. So, yeah. TJ Doheny is on... Goodman beat him by a wide margin. Barely got touched. He beat an undefeated Reese Aleem. When is that fight going down? August. Okay, a couple weeks. All right, guys, I gotta end this live. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the Johnny Says Boxing Insiders. You guys want to join our Discord group? It's a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned on my channel, JSB Insiders. If you see all the boys on the chat with the blue stars, that's how they got it. You get access to all the gamblers, all the big bettors and parlays. You get my picks as well, all in our Discord group. It's a couple bucks a month. It helps the channel grow. It helps me out, and you get to become part of this growing community. We started the Discord maybe a week ago, and it's growing. So it's a fun little chat. The best thing about that Discord is that you don't need me to moderate. You don't need me to mediate. You guys have this 24-hour ongoing chat, all things boxing. We have it separated into 3 categories right now: boxing, MMA, and parlays. So for all the insiders, post your parlay tickets in the parlay Discord. It says bets and parlays. Just keep it organized. I appreciate everybody. Wherever your money's at this weekend, I wish you well, wish you good luck. And remember, if you're not having fun gambling, if it's not entertaining for you, and it's ruining your day, it's ruining your relationships, and it's ruining your mental health, don't do it.